So here we go, episode number 3 of Marriage in the Fast Lane. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It's been fun. So we figured let's do another one.
Why not?
Why not? And we figured, well, we talked about the breakups. We talked about how we met and how crazy those stories were. Now we wanted to talk about the next phase of what happened in our life. And do you remember what happened? What was it like? So we met in February.
And then in April, we decided to buy a house together. So 2 months after we met.
We mentioned casually that 2 months after we met, we decided to buy a house, which was fucking crazy.
Of course it was.
What were we thinking?
Especially since I had already bought and sold a house with my ex.
It was insane.
Without living in it.
I know.
Without living in it. So
it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was a bit dumb.
It was very stupid.
In hindsight.
I'm trying to think now with 2 daughters, and imagine if your kids are young. Mind you, I mean, we were like 30, but still, if they tell you and they just met somebody and they're going to buy a house after 2 months, I mean, what's the reaction going to be? Like, you're stupid? But
no.
Like, are you doing the right thing? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
And your parents kind of didn't.
My parents didn't really care because this was the second time around for myself. And they liked you a heck of a lot more than they liked anyone else I dated. So, and I was also 30 years old.
But there's something interesting that we need to bring up. So we looked at some houses. A lot of them I had to go with the realtor alone because you were working. Mm-hmm. And I had, my hours kind of allow for that. And then we looked at houses together. We literally looked at like 25 houses or something like that?
I'd say you easily 30 houses and maybe I saw 10 with you.
They all start to look the same after a while. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. And then finally this house that we have now, there was always just something about it. There was always, even when it went on the market and it got off the market really fast and it kind of stuck in our head. It's like I wouldn't let it go. And finally asked the realtor, I said, just for shits and giggles, is that house still available? He ended up checking and he goes, the financing didn't go through. It's available this Saturday. There's an open house. Oh my God, we got to get it.
Yeah, there was just something about this house. It reminded us a lot of my family home that I grew up in, just like a smaller version of it. And we had showed our parents the pictures too from this house. And then we were very disappointed when it got sold right away. So we felt like this was maybe a second chance.
And here's the thing. Tina was in Quebec City. She was out of town. So we're dating for 2 months at this time. And we're already started to look at houses together, which everyone thought we were
crazy.
We were crazy. We were nuts. Then this house comes available again. You're in Quebec and you're like, well, obviously go check it out, right? See what you think.
Oh, yeah. I encouraged you to go check it out. I wanted you to be the first one there even.
So we got here. We weren't even the first ones here. There was other people very interested. I literally walked around the house in, I would say, under 3 minutes. I'm like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Called you in Quebec City, put you on speakerphone, and were you shocked? Because you're like, oh my God, you're actually going to buy it?
Not really. I don't know. Something in my head just told me that it was the right decision to go ahead and buy this house that we had both fallen in love with just by seeing the pictures. And after you saw 30 houses and you always had something to critique about or complain about with every house, you didn't like anything. And this was the only one that you walked in and you said, Tina's going to like the kitchen and the bathroom. So there's 2 bathrooms. So that's a bonus for us. Yeah. And you were going to have your little studio downstairs. So there was already something about the house that you loved. And I saw that excitement I heard it in your voice. Ugh. If I was with you, I'm sure I would have seen it all over your face, how happy and excited you were about it. So I said, sure, no problem. Put an offer in.
You're way too kind to think like that, because I'm trying to picture, other women out there. If you're in this situation, you're with somebody for 2 months and then they say, yeah, I found the house. Wouldn't you want to see it first? Like, no, put it on hold. I'll be back Sunday night. You didn't even care.
I didn't even care. I didn't even hesitate. I trusted you. I don't know why. 2 months I've known you.
But also, I also said to you, I go, babe, you don't have to come in with me. If I can get it. And then maybe, down the line in a couple months or something, if you were like, no, I'm coming in with you. We're splitting this down the middle.
Exactly. 50-50 all the way.
Which I thought was extremely
And we
brave.
said, God forbid, worst case scenario, we break up. Resell it. And we each take back our half and salut la visite.
So we ended up having the home inspection a week later. And I was so nervous because all I was thinking was, what if you don't like this house? Well, I mean, I guess you can still pull out at that point. You don't necessarily have to stay in, but I was so petrified. And then when you finally saw it, a week after, you were really happy with it. Thank God, because that was.
I was, and you had to see how nervous you were that Sunday morning.
I'll never seen forget. Me that nervous.
No, I hadn't. Well, again, it was a brand new relationship. 2 months we were together, but again, I really trusted you, and I liked the house from pictures. And when I walked in, my parents actually came as well to check out the house, and we all just fell in love with this cute little bungalow.
Thank God. Because I was so nervous, and we're still here now. This is where
we are
recording it in my studio. So dating for 2 months, we go and buy this house. We ended up moving in, like, what was it? We didn't move in till what, like
October.
Yeah, so that's April. We did not move in till October, so we had the whole summer. We only got the keys like midsummer or something, and then we had 2 months of renovation. So we're still fresh in the dating scene. We're both living at home. We're in our early 30s, and we're going through renovations at a house, balancing work and all this BS, and balancing all the arguments and the little bickering and the stupidities. And it was
we went through a lot of that. It was a stressful time, especially between August and the beginning of October when we moved in. Thankfully, we were still both living at each of our parents' houses, so there was no stress of moving out of a previous home. So we didn't have to deal with that, but we did have to deal a lot with the renovations. And you were here every single day. You would drive from work to the house just to check up to see if it was the plumber that was here, or the painter, or the alarm guy, or whoever it was that was doing work. And then you would go back home, do work, come and pick me up at night so I can check out the house and inspect what was done.
Sleep 3 hours and then go to work, sleep 4 hours, did the morning show.
And you had just started your morning show at that time, so that was a huge adjustment for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you were working crazy hours too, and I
always work crazy hours.
And something we got to mention too, because so we moved in October, and I proposed to Tina in early September. Now, there was a lot of people in my life, even friends of mine, who was like, well, don't you want to live together first before you propose? Like, do you know what you're doing? We traveled a little bit. We went to Greece. We went to New York. We had a few, those hotel nights under our belt, but we never really lived together.
No, we did not.
And in 2020 now, to go and propose, or this was 2016, but nowadays it's rare that you see people like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Just live with her. And when I asked for the blessing from your parents, they were expecting me to propose before moving in.
Because my parents are a little bit more old-fashioned and traditional.
Yeah.
So I guess that was just their way of knowing that you were committed and serious about marrying me, living with me. Yeah. So I think once you asked for my hand in marriage, my parents were like relieved and gave us the blessing of you proposing to me and us living together.
But all I kept thinking, though, and I'm not going to lie to you, I me having a failed marriage, you having a failed engagement, I'm like, oh my God, what if I'm proposing too early? And then something, who knows? Like, who the fuck knows? That is the
risk you take in life. And you, from what I've learned in the last almost 5 years being with you, you're a big risk taker.
Yeah.
And you can say to a certain extent that I am as well, especially in relationships. It was a huge risk getting into a serious relationship with you after coming out of 2 serious relationships before that, you coming out of a marriage.
Yeah.
So
we just said, what the hell?
I just said, what the hell? What's the worst that can happen here,
We break up, we sell the house.
Exactly. I feel like I had went through worse, as I explained in episode 2 with my ex. So I didn't think at all that you would have done that to me.
But it goes back to just following your gut.
Yes.
And knowing that it's the right decision. And some decisions are impulsive in life, but they just feel right. And I don't regret anything, obviously.
Neither do I.
And right.
And no hesitation at the time either, because I knew it was right.
Me too. And I think there's a lot of people out there that they overthink things, and they think, but if it feels right, 99% of the time, your gut is going to guide you in the right direction.
That's right.
Like, we both had bad gut feelings when we were with our exes.
Oh, we did.
Right? Even
the red flags going off in our heads all the time.
Yes, and we didn't listen to them. And you know exactly what we're talking about, those gut feelings with people, with your job, with, in relationships, with family members.
Friends.
Friends, anything. Bosses. You can feel it. It's energies. It exists. It's out there. I guess I got to say how I proposed, right? Because I mentioned the proposal.
That's a good story.
I kind of fucked it up, though.
No, you didn't. It was still very sweet and thoughtful at the end.
I kind of fucked it up because I thought you were expecting something Like elaborate.
I'll get into that after.
Oh, you see what I mean? But what I did was I made a little video. It was chronological of the day from the day we met to that day, which was only like 6 months. Which was not. But I have a thing with dates, and I can remember what date everything happened on. So I took all the pictures and I put the dates on. They made a little video to our song "Cheap Thrills" from Sia, which is the name of our daughter, and. So I put this video together, and then I planned it on a night in September to have the TV delivered at our new house, which we didn't live in. We just had the keys. I wanted to bring you here, walk you into the living room, turn the TV on with no lights on, and then that video would play and go down on one knee. But no, that didn't happen.
No, it did not. Do you want to tell them how it actually happened?
Do you?
No, you can go ahead and tell
Okay, we ended up falling asleep at my mother's place. And then we woke up like 3 hours later. It was already it was late, wasn't it?
It was almost like 11.
It was a Friday night.
Friday night.
And your parents and some family members were waiting at their house because they knew about the proposal and they were waiting for us to go by after. And I felt like such a shit. And but it ended up working out because we had our first kiss in my driveway where I grew up, and then it was kind of a last minute plan. I put the video on the computer, and then I said, "Hey, you want to come outside?" And you knew at that point because the video.
I did. The video kind of gave it away. And then I said, okay, come outside. But I had to think fast. It was just more of like plan B. Took her outside to exactly where we had the first kiss and then went down on one knee. And you started shaking. I was shaking. I was crying. I don't even think I heard half the things you said because I was so in shock.
I don't remember what I said.
As much as I had a feeling that you were going to be proposing at some point. I just didn't know that it was going to happen that night there, and I had the most stressful week at work, and honestly, I really did not expect a proposal, especially after I fell asleep. We had dinner, I fell asleep, and I was just in shock and totally happy at the end of it and crying, and said it was one of the best moments of my life, and it was so sweet how you proposed.
Yeah, thank you, because we always feel like we're not doing it good enough.
Oh, and what's nice is that we have that video always as a reminder of the night you proposed.
When we were younger, before aging with kids. But but what's incredible, and again, it's inspiration for those of you if you've been in a shitty relationship or you're getting out of one or you don't have hope. You were proposed to before, and I proposed. Mm-hmm. But for the both of us, we knew in that moment that was just way more special. And we both felt it like this is real.
It was genuine. It was real. And it was definitely special.
I'll never forget when I told people, everyone was shocked because I didn't tell anybody. Like besides your parents and
your mom.
I think my mom knew. Yeah, my mom knew. I must have told her. I didn't tell my siblings. I didn't tell my best friends.
Doesn't matter.
I didn't tell my coworkers. And it's better to do it that way, by the way. Don't start. It's just easier. And because then everybody asks questions all the time. But everybody was super happy, but shocked at the same time. It's just because it was fast. It was fast.
It was. 6 months into a relationship, you proposed, especially after our past experiences.
It was crazy. It wasn't even. Yeah,
it was almost 6 months.
It was more than 6 months.
More than 6 months, yes, yeah.
Because I wanted to propose
in August,
and then that didn't happen.
Yeah. You proposed in September instead. Yeah.
I think I lied to you about something because
when you picked up the ring.
Yeah, when we went to Greece in July, so I told her on the plane going home. I said, "Oh, I already ordered the ring." You
told me that.
Okay, good. You don't remember.
I don't think I remember that.
It was total bullshit. I never even went yet.
Of course not. We had only just reserved the reception hall and the date of our wedding. So we kind of did that first and before you bought the ring.
I also thought of proposing on the radio, and I'm like, that's just so fucking cheesy. Like
and impersonal.
Impersonal, and I thought of doing something public because, because of what I do for a living, maybe I could have made some calls and try to work something out.
And that's what I thought when you grabbed my hand and brought me outside and you opened the door. I thought there was going to be lights and cameras and video men. And
really?
I really did. And then when I walked outside and there was nobody, not even a cricket to be heard, I was like, oh, you know what? This is actually kind of nice that it's just private. It's just you and I.
Because there's one thing about you, and if people, there's people who know you, and then there's people who just kind of know you through me. But there's one thing about Tina, my wife, she's so social. Like, she loves people. She loves being around people and you love being part of everything that I'm part of. And I think
yes, I do.
That is an attraction maybe to me too, that you liked off the bat.
And likewise.
Yeah. And I just think that you expected. That's what you expected, something bigger because of my job.
Yes, and
it's
I'm
not
being
fair
honest.
in
It's
a way.
not fair. I'm sorry, but again, and at the end of the day, I'm glad that it was so special and
Thank you.
Personal and private.
You know, because then you always hear those stories of
the elaborate proposals.
The elaborate proposals, but then the opposite of our parents and then our grandparents, like, after 3 months, I just gave her a ring.
Not even.
Or not even, or your parents.
I just said I want to marry. My father goes to my grandfather. I want to marry your daughter. Okay, what date? When are you getting married?
Yeah, it was like so much easier now, guys. Right?
Yeah, no proposing.
Yeah,
no elaborate proposals. No getting down on one knee.
Because we were going through a phase there. I think it's over though. I think it was 10 years ago when everybody was doing these elaborate proposals with fucking dancers in the street and shit, and they're like, "You're like, get out of here! It's fine. Come on!" And then, but it puts an expectation on the woman to be like, "Well, he's gotta like do something crazy.
Gotta be creative and crazy. But then you're unique.
But then you realize you get engaged, you get married, and all. It's a memory.
It's a memory.
It's in the past, and like that means fuck all. It really means fuck all if you think about it. So I'm swearing a lot more because I can.
Oh, I didn't realize you can swear.
Well, of course you can. It's a podcast. It's not.
Okay. It's not you on the radio.
No. Can you swear?
No. Oh, shit.
You sound like our daughter is saying shit.
Shit.
When we moved, see, that's the thing. So I proposed before moving into with each other, and we need to talk about, babe, when we moved in with each other. Because I proposed, everything was amazing. August, September, we mentioned stressful renovations. We're like, when are we going to move in? Well, October 7th, we choose the date. We're moving in. Everything's incredible. The whole weekend, we're getting the furniture, yada, yada.
Marathons for dinner.
Marathons, of course. That's a tradition, by the way, between us, Tina and I. Every big moment, we go and have marathons. Shout out to marathons. We love you. And we were so gung ho. We were on cloud 9, and then we actually started living together. And do you remember the first few weeks?
Oh yeah, I can tell you that every Thursday for at least a month, if not almost 2 months, we would just explode into a fight. I don't know what it was about Thursday nights. Maybe just we were drained from the week. We were tired and stressed, and you two with waking up early. It was a whole new routine and adjustment for yourself. Every little stupid thing that I did, I'm sure, pissed you off, and vice versa.
Fuck, did we fight, man?
We fought.
I
thought we were going to break up at some point.
It was
before Christmas because it was incredible how much we fought for like at least 2 months, but over the stupidest things.
We haven't told many people this. Like, we literally every day at one point, like you said, Thursday was the big one.
Yeah.
But we used to fight about the most ridiculous things because we live differently, I guess.
A little bit.
I think you had an expectation of me that I was like,
oh yeah, I'd wake up in the morning and find peanut butter on the floor.
Okay. And I think she thought I was, because I lived on my own before and I lived with my ex. I think Tina thought I was going to be super neat, clean, efficient, which I'm very average.
Yeah, you are. Like, you're good. I can't complain about that.
I'm neat, but I'm not like...
You're not a neat freak like I am.
I'm not a neat freak
like you are. I'm a bit OCD, as you know.
So you're the extreme.
Yes.
And then I'm like, whatever.
Somewhere in the middle.
All good. Yeah. Like, Tina's at the point where... I got to bring this up. You know what I'm going to bring up. With the faucet.
I knew it.
So this is so messed up. And I've talked about this on the radio too. You literally have... And I don't even know if I even left the faucet upstairs, and we've been living here for 4 years. You have to have the faucet on the...
left.
On the left. See, I don't even know. You have the faucet in your kitchen. So picture your kitchen. There's the faucet. There's 2 sinks. The faucet always has to be on the left side. If I leave it on the right, she legit gets pissed off.
Not all the time.
And you know what's crazy?
I'll sigh. I'll be like, again, he knows I like it on the left.
So in the first month or two, you used to be pissed off. Didn't hear about it for a while. Then like 3 months ago, you busted out that card again.
Yeah, because I noticed you kept leaving it on the right side. I was like, no, I want it on the left. I know it's a little stupid quirk of mine, but
I think what we realized, and maybe you can relate to this, is because like you lived with your ex for a little while, I lived with mine for a few years, and then we also dealt your other ex. We dealt with bigger things, right? Mm-hmm. So when you live with each other, there's all those little crazy little things that bother the shit out of you. but they're so
minute,
small, not important.
Not important at all.
And
you only realize that later on.
Yeah.
Maybe in the moment it bothers you, but then you stop and think, and you're like, this is nothing. Don't make
ridiculous.
A big deal out of this. This is not a problem.
This is so stupid. And then, the advice we can give you is don't fret over that shit. Get over it. And we've always
don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, and we've always been really good at just like moving on. Like just
kiss and make up. I think it's one of our fortes in our relationship.
Yeah. But man, those first few months. That's why I said
yep. That's why I think it's important for you to live with your partner before you propose. But on the other hand, I don't have any regrets, and it worked out for us. Here we are going on like almost 4 years married and 2 children and a roof over our head, and I can't complain.
So wait,
I'm happy.
now you so you don't recommend it. So if our daughter is in that situation,
I guess
one of ours.
It depends. It depends the situation and what they've lived through and what kind of persons they are. Like
That's true.
Their personality, their level of maturity. So I think all that has to be taken into consideration before we give our blessing or not with this kind of decision. Should they decide to move in with a partner before getting married or before they propose, should they choose to get married? We don't even know what the future is going to look like in 25, 30 years from now. Our daughter's 2 years old and 8 months old. Like,
will people still be getting married in 20, 25 years? Like, who hell knows?
Hopefully. But that's only if they want to.
It's because we believe in it.
We believe in it.
Yeah, we believe in the values of marriage. But that could change, or some people don't. And you look at the divorce rate.
Divorce rate's been 50% for a long time, and that never stopped us.
True.
And even you having been divorced, and me coming out of an engagement, I always knew deep down I wanted to get remarried. I wanted to get married.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. Remarried. Well, married to the right person.
Married to the right person.
Even if it took 6 times. No, I'm joking.
Doesn't matter.
I wouldn't fucking do that. Look at Jennifer Lopez. She's
how many times engaged or married?
Engaged 5 times, married 3. Isn't that crazy? Wow.
She's famous.
Yeah, she's on another level.
She's got money. Yeah.
So that was the first 7-8 months of our relationship. So from February to October, all that happened, and it was crazy. And it actually feels good talking about it.
Yeah, it does.
It's like therapeutic.
Of course.
I guess,
it's always therapeutic to talk about
stuff
like this.
Hopefully we've inspired you with some of these stories.
Hopefully.
If some things are going on in your life and you're second guessing and you're hesitating.
Listen to your gut.
Yes.
Red flags, if they start going off in your head, you know that there's a problem. Do not ignore them. Do not find yourself in the situations we were in.
Yeah.
And again, hindsight is 20/20, but if there's a way that you can pay attention to those feelings and those thoughts in your head and to react and do something about it, trust me, you will be happy in the long run.
I also think it's part of just getting older too, right? You start
growth and maturity.
Yeah, growth. You start being more confident in your decisions and following your gut, and when your gut is telling you kind of the right direction to go in. So I think that's the moral of the episode.
That comes also with experience.
Yes, it does. And experience brings knowledge and wisdom. That is another episode.
Look at you, Psychology 101.
Oh, please, no. You have the psychology major. I'd be terrible at that. So that was another episode of Marriage in the Fast Lane. That was fun, babe.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
That was fun. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
See you next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.